house wine. Today's wine of choice that we picked is Levita and
Levita.
That's how we pronounce it?
Yeah, that's that hood wine.
Are you serious?
I don't know.
Lovitia. It's a single vineyard Cabernet.
It's Levita from, No,
it's Lovetia. Lovitia. It's a single vineyard Cabernet. And it is 13.5% alcohol. It's a very dry wine, and it is vanilla and ripe fruits on the palate, well structured with sweetness and full body, harmonious and long finish.
In other words, your tongue don't taste like vanilla when you drunk. That's what I got.
It does not taste like vanilla.
And that one too.
The other one that we found,
I don't taste no vanilla.
There's no vanilla in it. It's just straight Cabernet grapes. It tastes like grapes. Mm-hmm. Fermented grapes is what that tastes like. This one is called Trick. We got it because it has Halloween on it, and we love Halloween. It is 14% alcohol, and it is a red table wine. It comes out of California.
Mm-hmm. California.
Yeah.
Where's that from?
Where's this one from?
Where's Levita from?
This one is a Spanish one.
See, I told you Spanish hood.
This one is a Spanish wine.
Spanish hood. Levita.
So this one actually is, red table wine is sweeter than this Cabernet, but it will be always sweeter than the Cabernet.
I think it's dry.
No, they're both dry, because they're hella dry wine.
They're way sweeter than Cabernet, though.
Anything is sweeter than a Cabernet. A Cab is always going to be like...
that one, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
It's strong, though.
It's strong. That's the Trick is stronger and sweeter, which usually does not happen. Because
that's true.
That is true. Because usually sweet wines have less alcohol in them, and they leave you with a bigger hangover.
Yeah.
But this Cabernet right here is dry, and it has less alcohol. That's the first time I've seen a Cab that doesn't have that much alcohol by volume.
What does it taste like?
You want to try it? It just tastes like a Cab. It don't taste like any of the things that they say on the label. Not even lying. It's a dry wine.
It's strong.
I'd rather pour that one than this.
Let me taste yours. See, we're having a wine tasting. We didn't even pay for it. I don't smell any hints of anything but bad decisions.
Because it's a table wine.
That's what I said.
I feel like this is the table wine that will have you fall on the table.
Like when we're around the fire pit, that's the one.
This is the one you want. Oh, I can't wait until it gets like chilly. And we can
go to the fire pit.
We can. We sure can.
Like, cider slushies, hard cider slushies.
Ooh, that's what I said. Yeah.
It is good.
It is good. It's got a bite to it. I was like, oh.
Yeah, it's a big bite.
Because it has more alcohol than...
it's not really made me an alcoholic, y'all.
You want to switch?
Like, yum.
Basically, she doesn't like her wine and she's forcing
No, you can't take her wine. You take mine.
I do.
Here.
I can take her. She has more.
Right here. You can fill yours back up, you old hoe. Wait. We almost messed up the whole thing.
Cheers. House wine.
So today, our episode is called Breakups or Failures. They are not failures, but it's breakups or failures. I know that sounded like the same sentence, but there's a question mark at the end of that, okay?
Breakups or failures. Wait, not breakups are failures. No, breakups or failures.
But I got an accent. Can't help it. I don't know where it came from. I don't know where it came from.
Sometimes it sounds like you from like Staten Island or like, Long Island somewhere, because you talk like this sometimes. And I'll be like, where is this coming from? And then sometimes I hear a little country.
I don't know.
We don't know.
I don't know. I just let it happen.
She got a little dash of everything up in there.
I'm a Jill of all trades, so it's just what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking about relationships this episode, and the first thing we're going to talk about is some people question, why are they still single? Why do some single people still question why they're still single? And when I was single, I did write a blog post about this. And
Why
Dating, millennial dating, is the craziest dating experience in the entire universe of dating.
Yeah, because there's all these new rules now.
Rules of technology. You're like,
I was like, wait, so I'm not allowed to say what? I'm not allowed to pay what? Wait, what? I don't know. You know, I would just stay where I'm at.
there's new rules. There's the technology also. Like, we have more technology than ever, and it should make us closer, but sometimes it brings us farther apart because when you don't answer, like, if you're constantly talking to someone all day, by the time you get home, y'all have nothing to talk about.
That is so true. That is so true. Sometimes you just be like, yo, so I can't tell you about my day because you were, texting me all day about my day. So can't talk about that. Well, what do we talk about? Cooking? No, you told me. You called me and told me what you were cooking.
I kind of miss the days where
we didn't have phones.
No, where when calling and texting was free after 9 p.m.
You had an excuse. You had an excuse. You'd be like, I'm trying to watch my bill.
5 minutes. Like, you're
Right.
gonna call whenever
And
they're free.
you would always love it when they would respect that and be like, nah, I didn't want to call you, because I know you get it free after. See, I was being considerate, girl. Being considerate. Now it's just like, I can reach you anytime, anywhere.
There was free after 7, and this other plan was free after 9.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yeah, you better call me then. Texting's okay, but texting's starting to cost me. So, like, you have to do all this on my free time.
What's up? I don't know. I think,
It's a different, like, I was single for 2 years, at least, so I can get to know me, and then I started dating, and I was like, the saying is, I see it on Facebook all the time, people say there's pee in the dating pool.
there is.
The millennial dating pool.
Because, see, and the thing is, like, technology sometimes gets in the way of it because I feel like people are way more comfortable saying things behind text messages and behind a computer. And then when you see them, it's like...
You have nothing to say.
Well, not only that, but they don't say the things that they were saying through text messages and behind the screen. It's like they were so bold and interesting, and now it's just like they're scared or something. I don't know. Or like they felt way more confident. Like you can't look at the person in their eye and say the same stuff because it's so easy to text. Yeah, I like you when you this or whatever. But when you see them in person, then it's like they clam up. Like,
and then people are also comparing their relationships to other people's relationships because everything is online now. And you're like, oh, they don't have any problems. But they fail to realize that all those things that you see online are definitely people's highlight reels because behind the computer, everybody has their ups and their downs. There is no perfect relationship. Sometimes, even when everything is great, just especially in a pandemic, just being around someone 24/7, you'd be like, you get on my nerves sometimes.
Well,
but
that
that's
and
normal.
you start finding out stuff about that person. Ooh, that because there's always that what they call it, the honeymoon phase, where they do everything right and y'all loving on each other and it's great. And then they start getting used to you. You start getting used to them. He start leaving the toilet seat up. You start farting in the bed. I'm just saying, like all the things that made you're like, I never knew you. That annoys me. He starts chewing on pencils or his fingernails, and or he taps something, and it's like, I really don't like you. We've been around each other way too much. Go away. Just go away.
It's like everything isn't. Why you guys all looking at me?
Because we're
like,
so
you
interested.
Just sat there and scared me real quick.
It was like when somebody coughed during the pandemic. Everybody
Let me forget what I was saying. That was very important too. It'll come back.
Wasn't important?
Yeah, it's just don't compare your highlight reel to other people's.
Yeah, because you don't know what they're going through behind the scenes. People can take a pretty picture. They can put up real nice posts about their lives and cover stuff up. And, maybe in that moment they were having a good time. But you don't know what they do when they get home. You don't know what kind of arguments they have.
Pause. Look, I just remembered. Okay. So, like someone over the internet and everything, they sound like the perfect person, meeting all the right standards, But whenever you meet them in person, and the smoke screen is taken off, and you see them for who they are, they're not actually the same person that you're talking to on the internet.
Yeah, and that goes back to what I was saying about people hiding behind the technology. It's what they do.
It's like, and a lot of people just want relationships through technology. They don't even want to meet the person.
They're like, it was
so
cool. Or do you ever hear the
wonderful.
stories about these people who meet each other online? What is it, catfishing?
Yeah.
Where they have this whole relationship. It's like a whole love story. Oh, he's the perfect guy, and blah, blah, blah. But they never want to meet in person, and then they'd be like, well, what's wrong with you? Why won't you meet with me in person? You find out that they are nothing like what they said they were.
Yeah.
Millennials are also very awkward, so trying to convey who they are, just by trait-wise, in a generalization, which sometimes happens, a lot of millennials identify as awkward. And they're like, oh, I don't know if my personality conveys. It's also like scientists, like people who study generational trends. I like to read up on that a lot. And they were explaining how the millennials are so different, and they're like, oh, they don't want to get married right away. They don't want to have children right away. They're waiting to do everything. They don't want to have houses right away. And it's like,
besides the fact we all broke. We broke. Don't nobody got no money. And for the first time, I feel like this generation's like, yo, there's so many other things that are important than me buying a house or nailing myself down to some more debt.
and I said that people that should be having children or were probably very the parents are the ones that are being responsible and not having children. And sometimes the people that are having children are like, there's no way I can take care of this child, but I'm going to do it anyways because this is what I want to do. And I'm like,
yeah, and we're not even going to get into the other reasons as to why they want to keep their children, because that'll get...
Because a decent amount, and notice also when there's subcategories of millennials also, because the people that went to, a lot of my college friends, they waited until like very, very late to have a child. And a lot of my...
Which is a respectable thing to do.
My high school friends, they had kids straight out the gate. They were like, I'm just going to be a parent. And I was like, I don't, like my mom, she had her kids at like, I think it was, she had her kids in like straight out of, like not straight out of high school. It was like junior year, senior year. And then after after high school, she had my youngest brother, I believe. So I was like, I appreciate her and I love her, but I was like, I want to strive to be amazing and do as much as that I can do and accomplish all things without having the responsibility of children.
Yeah, like I used to tell my cousins, I'm like, it's great that you want to have a family in the future. It's great that you want to do these things. That's really good. But I feel like if you have kids really early, you miss out on a lot of who you are and finding out who you are, like having your own.
Because they defined you.
Yeah.
Because
now your mom instead of, replacing
you before knowing who you are, you're a mom first.
Yeah. You never got a chance to have your own apartment and be by yourself and figure
to
out
know
what your
you.
style is and I like this couch and I like this light. Just.
You go through phases of your life.
It's like, it's not only that, but it's like people who have gotten pregnant at an early age and everything. They missed out on their whole 20s and what the 20s were all about. And what the 20s were all about and everything.
And the freedom of it.
But they
the
didn't.
freedom.
But also, when you have to talk about, they missed out on a lot, but they also gained a lot because they had to grow up faster.
Yeah.
And so now, like when you have kids young, you get to grow up with kids. That's the upside to it, because my mom was a young mom, and we weren't best friends, no, but I got to watch her grow up. She got to watch me grow up, and the coolest thing about it is now that we are both adults, we can be friends. Because her thing was, I don't want you to be my best friend until you are an adult. Like,
and even then,
there's still boundaries.
She's
like
when she told you better make that pie, I was like, yo, that's mom.
I made a sweet potato pie.
You made the pie, didn't you?
Make the second
I
pie.
was like, but hold on, make the pie. Make the pie. You're like, I'm what are you doing, Charlotte? I'm making the second pie, like my mama said, because she said.
Yeah, like a lot of parents are worried about like I'm gonna be my kid's bestest friend in the world.
They don't need a best friend. They gonna make best friends in this world that are gonna disappoint them, hurt them. They need you to be mom and dad. When they come crying, they need advice. They need someone stable. They need somebody who's gonna love them unconditionally. They need that stability. You need to be the advice giver and the mentor.
They don't need a friend to sit there and tell them what to do or whatever, because your friend doesn't have the experience as your parents do.
That's true.
So you need your parents to be there to get advice from instead of your friends, because friends will sit there and turn you in the wrong
You don't
direction.
need advice from your parents necessarily. You need the structure from your parents.
Because they're not going to BS you. They're going to tell you straight out the gate, like, look, okay, well, this is what you did wrong. This is why this doesn't work.
And when you're too worried about being your parents' best friend and not having that structure there, you tend to do all the things. I was like, oh, my mom, like, she did give me the ability of freedom of expression. That's how I'm the creative person that I am. But she also was there to rein me in. And she's like, this is the structure. Like, she had a safety net. She was like, I don't want to be your best friend. I would like for you to do this, that, and the third. At least go to college, study something, do great things, make great choices, and I'm going to be there to make sure that you make great choices. Like,
I was blessed because I had three strong women that really, I grew up with my grandparents. My grandma, my grandma, my great grandma, my aunt, and the lessons. Each one had their own different lesson that they would teach me. So I had my great grandma would teach me about history and about African American history and about etiquette and all these things that we don't really see now. How to sign your name and write checks and all the business aspect. Then I had my grandma who would teach me about like the guitar and singing and stage presence and headshots and things like that. And I had my aunt that taught me about business and the importance of school and getting a degree. And always looking forward, and just the lessons that you get from each one that rounds you as an individual. And I wouldn't have gotten it from my friends. There's no way. If they had tried to be my friend, it would have been a whole mess. Your friends will tell you things to keep you.
and they'll try and sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
And your
because
parents
they don't want to hurt you. Your parents aren't there to hurt you, but they're also not there to tell you stuff
to
that's gonna
coddle
make
you.
Right.
They're there to help you.
If it's a hole there, they're gonna be like, look. Don't go there. It's a hole. Your friends are like, it's a hole, but I feel like you could jump over it. I feel like it's just a little hole.
It's like for me, I had my mom to what's that word? Hold on. Not discipline, but
guide.
Not guide, but I think the word starts with a C. Hold on, let me think about it.
Criticize?
Yeah. She had to sit there and critique, guide me and everything, and oh gosh, I forget the other word, but it's okay. But she did all of that, and with her doing that, being there for me and everything that I went through in my younger years and everything, without her, I wouldn't have become the person that I am today. And I wouldn't have completed the things that I have completed in my life today without her.
I don't think a lot of things like with, relationships and being a millennial, if you, like, it's not just having kids, it's hopping into relationships and making them so concrete. Like, sometimes you need to find out who you are, and
You need a relationship to fail.
Yeah. You need to know what not to do and who not to be around. Like, you need to see that and feel it. Like, okay, well, no, I don't like
You
that.
just can't go from relationship, and you never get to know who you are. So you're trying to find something in someone else that you haven't found in you yet.
Yeah.
It's like when if a relationship ends that isn't good or isn't working out, it's not so much of a bad thing. It's a good thing because that's giving you time to figure out yourself and getting to learn yourself again. Mm-hmm. You need breaks in between relationships. Either it's 6 months, a year,
however
a year
long
and a
it
half.
takes.
Yeah, however long it takes for you to get to know yourself, to feel comfortable with yourself.
Because I used to get talks at these like YMCA meetings. And, you know, a lot of these young girls, they watch these music videos, they hear their friends talking, and they're just like, I just want somebody in my life, and I just want to be with somebody. I was like, how about worry about being with you?
Because not, not finding out who you are, even, like, at least, you will never completely...
You'll
never completely know who you are, 100%.
Because you're always growing.
And
but you kind of know...
And
you need a
foundation, like what I like, what I don't like.
And if you don't take that time out to get to know yourself, you'll continue to get in the same bad situations or bad relationships. And that's not helping you. It's actually making you worse. You know.
Or you'll start reaching for the complete opposite. Like, you know how they say, oh, we always date our dads, which is...
That's not true.
It's not. I don't.
I love my dad to pieces, but I don't want to date someone like
you know that. You find they say that you want somebody with qualities like your dad, the good qualities. Which okay, I get that, but I feel like you have to learn. You have to be your own person.
Me and my dad are a lot alike because he taught me a lot of things, and I never want to date anyone that is exactly or a lot like me because that would annoy the hell out of me.
Right. But you also don't want to find somebody that's completely different to the point where they make you, what's the word? I guess conform or whatever. Like you don't want to have to always conform.
You don't want to have to change you and compromise all the time.
Like, so, I mean, it'd be different if you both want to compromise. That's cool. You know,
you don't want to have to be the one bending all the time.
Yeah.
If you got to bend all the time, then you in the wrong relationship.
That is annoying.
Like, that's not
like, I don't want to do this. Well, we're doing it. I don't really want to do that, and it's annoying. You know, you want somebody that at least you have a couple of things in common that you enjoy together. Mm-hmm. You know, you don't want somebody that you
completely opposite.
Yeah, because then, I mean, what's the point? You're just going to get on each other's nerves. Like, you bending all the time. This person's bending all the time. I mean, what's the point? You might as well just be by yourself. You know, if you can't enjoy little things together, like make new experiences together, then there's no point to it.
Or that person's fucking up all the time.
That's a whole nother. We're gonna need more than this.
Yeah, if you, I call it a evaluation. Mm-hmm. Like, you know how a relationship it shouldn't feel like work, but relationships, sometimes you gotta look at them as like jobs. Like, just look at the different relationships in your life as jobs. Even the family ones, the friends ones, even like the personal like love relationships. Like, do evaluations and just be like, is this giving me joy? Is this giving me peace? What works? What doesn't work? And is it worth me staying here in this place?
It's also like if you want to be in a relationship, whatever, you meet somebody, and you have to make sure that the puzzle pieces fit together.
Because I think
if
a lot of times,
it doesn't fit, it's not worth it.
Yeah, a lot of times people try to make something fit that don't work. Like, they are so afraid of, oh, well, this is the only thing, and this person, I can try to make it work. And sometimes it just goes too far.
It is so sad that a lot of people will sit here and the person that's interested in somebody, the interested person will sit there and lie and everything to sit there and be somebody that they aren't just for you, just so they could get with you.
And then after a while, it's like, oh, good morning, I'm a completely different person.
Yeah,
but you gotta know when to walk away.
The key is to fall in love with yourself before you fall in love with anyone else. If you do not have the confidence to fall in love with yourself, you do not have the confidence to fall in love with anyone else. Mm-hmm. Because it's not love, because you don't know what love is until you love yourself.
And they're going to wind up teaching you what their idea of love is.
Don't let anyone throw their idea of love on you, because then that ruins who you are, and you're gonna have to rebuild who you are.
Yeah.
I know that from experience.
Yep. So
You don't want to have to start all over and
again.
figure out. Do you know how many times I've started all over? Self-esteem. You don't want to have to keep starting all over from scratch with self-esteem, because that's hard to build.
Because a lot of times
We
they'll tell
all
you a
know.
lie and you'll believe it. And it'll take you so long to look back and be like, yo, that ain't even true. Like, I'm amazing. This person lied. I'm amazing.
Hold on, wait. No. Don't sit there and get with the person because the opposite person is pretending to be somebody they're not. And then after, a few months after they're in the honeymoon stage, they figure out that none of everything that you're telling me is even true.
Mm-hmm.
Like, none of who you are and how you're acting is even true.
And a lot of times they wind up, making you question yourself.
Who you
but
are.
They make you feel like you're crazy.
Yeah.
There it is. There it is.
Because
Yep.
it's a form of emotional abuse, and a lot of times, I don't want to compare the two, but emotional abuse, people don't know that they're being emotionally abused until they're not being emotionally abused anymore.
Yeah.
And that takes a minute. Like, you could be like, oh, I'm friends with this person. This person is my best friend. I'm in a relationship with them, and you not know that you've been emotionally controlled and abused.
But
Right,
also,
right.
like, if when you are being emotionally controlled and everything, and you hang out with your friends or whatever, and if it's a real friend, they'll sit there and they'll tell you, they'll tell you how you're acting and so forth, like you're acting different. You're not the same as you
But
used
you know
to
you
be.
ain't gonna, and don't nobody listen to that.
No,
Nobody-
you're not gonna listen till you're ready to
No,
listen.
but you should also know yourself, like, if things you
Something should
know,
hit you.
Yeah, like something's not right.
Like, if you get to know yourself, I feel like they're accused.
I stayed in a relationship that wasn't healthy emotionally for on and off for quite a few years. But I didn't know it was unhealthy because I wasn't ready to face the fact that it was an unhealthy relationship. And you can have all the friends telling you, like, this dude is whack, you don't need to date him, he's not good for you emotionally.
But when you in it, you in it.
You in it and you're not ready to hear that. You're not ready to hear that. You're like,
Yeah,
it's gonna
you
work.
I'm gonna make it work.
You don't care.
Girl. On that note.
It's like you really
On that,
don't.
does anybody else need a refill?
I
Would you
just
like to
refilled
top off?
mine.
Because that's a different one. You just pour your
Oh, it
cup.
is?
That's in my cup, yes.
That's
Oh.
trick, not treat.
That's not the Cabernet.
See, it tricked you.
They did. That's okay. I'm gonna try
But
that
also
again.
emotional abuse. A big difference between physical and emotional abuse is the fact that physical abuse heals, most of the time it heals quicker than emotional abuse.
Mm-hmm.
Emotional abuse requires some kind of therapy, and even if Black people don't want to face the fact that therapy is a thing, therapy exists, it's good for you, it's good for everyone, no matter what your skin complexion or color is, therapy is good for everyone. There shouldn't be a negative stigma to therapy.
And I mean, even if it's, having somebody just listen to you just vent. Sometimes these people that are, that are in these emotional, abusive relationships, they need to talk it out. Like, they really just need to talk through it.
You
And when
need
you're in an
somebody.
emotionally abusive relationship, you can't talk. You're afraid to say anything because every time you say something, the person is going to say something opposite of that to make you feel like what you're saying isn't working.
Or what if you were in an emotional abusive relationship where everything is great, and everything is great because the other person said it was great, so you don't know that it's not great because you're like, this is great.
Yeah, right.
Because for my first relationship to be an emotionally abusive relationship, I didn't have a foundation for what a relationship should be. So I was like, oh, if he says it's great, so everything is great.
Yeah, this is how it's supposed to go.
Yes.
This is how it's supposed to feel. This is supposed, I'm supposed to feel this way. No.
But I needed that to fail so I could get to know me. And I was like, you should never try to make things work with your high school sweetheart. Don't ever do that. That's the biggest mistake that you can make. Unless y'all just y'all know each other. No, not even that. Most high school sweethearts don't work out. I don't sound jaded.
Take your time. People be like so willing to just throw their freedom away all the time. Like, I'm in a relationship.
I'm getting married.
No. And I get it. Like, they have this fear this person is going to leave. Someone else is going to get them. Trust me. If it is meant to be, it's going to be. Take your time. Know yourself. Travel the world. Get your apartment. But in high school,
you don't know yourself.
Right. That's why I'm like, how you getting married and committing your life to this other person and you don't even... You don't
have a life.
You don't even have a life. Like, you've never had your own apartment.
A job.
What are you talking about?
You don't know how you earn the passion.
It's also, like, if you're in a, emotional abusive relationship, it's also like, you should... Oh, gosh, I forgot it. It was really strong. Then you talked, and then you talked, and I wanted to talk, and then you were talking, and I forgot.
We're going to give you a sheet of paper so you can write it down.
Yes, we are. And we probably just going to put a camera on the side, and you can just have Lindseyisms.
And give you a sheet of paper to write down before they leave.
Today, on the Lindsey Show, watch me think about the word I can't remember. Ugh. And watch this old man laugh she got, because she's going to laugh for at least another half an hour.
Shut up. But no, it was really good too.
Was it about falling in love with yourself?
No. Oh. It was about you sat there and you said, oh gosh.
That's not what I said. I didn't say oh gosh.
No, you didn't say oh gosh, but you said that you said